Welcome to Veranda CA. So welcome back to part 2 of functional level strategies that we are going to see in this particular slide. So the first already seen strategies are marketing strategies and financial strategies. Now we are moving on to the third level strategies, the production strategy. Production, the operation function, the basic function for enabling the product reaches the customers, the product has a market, the product has good finance to back up for it. So production strategies are mainly aimed at improving the quality. Yes, so when I say production, it is about quality and quantity also definitely, but production in mass quantity, but then the quality aspects are not adhered to. That doesn't have an impact at all. That is not going to reach, that is not going to help your brand stand out in the market. So production are aimed at improving quality, at the same time increasing quantity depending on the customer's requirement. The material supply, the materials required for making your production, the maintenance of plant equipment which goes on the factory overheads, so the plant equipment, the maintenance of that, and ultimately ensuring you are reducing the cost of production. So more quantities are produced, your cost will per unit will reduce, or various other aspects, latest technology being adopted, cost may reduce. So ensuring quality aspect, quantity aspect, supply is also ensured, at the same time reducing the cost per unit. So these are the various aspects that we need to consider when it comes to production strategy. So it is definitely an operational planning, the day-to-day operation, in order to ensure the production is there on at a required level throughout the year. We need to frame strategies for such an operation, and just not production. When I say production, it's not concerned with the manufacturing aspect alone, also ensuring the product moves from a factory to the customer's place, so that we properly refer as logistics. So when I say production strategy, it concerns with manufacturing, supply, plant and equipment maintenance, reducing cost, at the same time ensuring it reaches the consumer when they require for it. So what are the various strategies that is concerned with production aspect? So with this regard, we foresee the following steps. First, understand the production capacity. How much can your business produce? How much can your business procure from outside? How much can it resort to any outsourcing facility if your in-house production ability is not to that extent, or you have a very big plant, you can go ahead with the entire production, in-house production. So yes, you can go ahead. Is there a good demand? Accordingly you can produce so much. Or partially I produce in-house, partial procurement from outside, that is outsource the rest through to other job workers. So these are the various analysis a company has to do. So understanding the production capacity of my organization is the first and foremost requirement. Without knowing how much I can produce, I cannot frame a strategy for it. Okay, so whether I integrate with any other business or whether I outsource this, I don't want to do this business at all. Pure outsourcing, or you can integrate or start your own manufacturing unit also. So understanding the production capacity is the first step. Then we need to plan and control. So after understanding, getting an analysis, having done an analysis on that and getting an idea, then I frame a plan. So that is the production plan here. So how much of this is related to the operations planning and control. How much resources are efficiently utilized for the day-to-day activities. So how much of resources are utilized for achieving the long-term objectives. So this is concerned with the aggregate production planning, material supply, inventory, as we already discussed. As I said, the most important feature when it comes to production planning is quality. So ensuring right quality of product. At no point of time I should compromise on the quality. KSB Pumps is known for its quality production. They have a separate department for quality, and it is further divided into inspection stage and further quality engineering team. Okay, so quality, providing value quality products to the consumer would be the major concern for most of the organization. The third point is logistics. As I said, not just production, not just ensuring various components into it are timely supplied by the suppliers, or you are maintaining the plant and equipment. Also, it needs to reach the consumer. Logistics management. So, this integrates the flow of supplies into and through and out of an organization. So, logistics concerns with the basic as plant location. Where is your plant located? So, if it is located at a very feasible place, then your production is goes smoothly. Okay. So, sourcing of the raw materials. The raw material is available in the eastern region. So, probably you can locate your plant, you can locate your factory nearby to that place. So, the logistics of traveling, the travel is reduced there to procure the raw materials, move it to your factory which is located somewhere else in the country. Okay, so location concerns with when I choose the plant location, it is also to be placed in a particular place where it is more feasible, and the size of the plant, the safety. So, safety reasons, how safe it is in this place, and what is the size, availability of the raw materials and other infrastructural facilities will also need to be decided when it comes to logistics management. So, logistics involves decision making that have a very long term implication like cost savings, reduced inventory, timely delivery and so on. And this is what provides a competitive advantage. So, we would like to order from a particular company which serves us immediately within that end of the day or very early. So many advertisements we see these days which says delivery within an hour or delivery within few minutes or hours. So, customer need immediate delivery. They are not just patient enough to wait for a longer period, and especially when they see other competing brands delivering in a quick span of time, they are likely to move to other brands. So, this logistics management provides a competitive edge, not just when it comes to delivery. As I said, the plant location, the availability of resources, the transport time, if it is reduced, then you are able to produce the product at the right moment, deliver it to the customer at the right time. So, this provides a competitive advantage that, unlike other pricing or other action, very hard for your other companies to imitate. So, when I say logistics management, it is concerned with the 7 R's. The right product at the right price, right quantity, in the right condition, at the right place, right time and to the right customer. So, even one of this cannot be out of place. So, the product with the proper pricing, the required quantity in a safe condition to be delivered at the right place to the right consumer at the right time. So, these are the 7 R's which any logistics management is primarily concerned with. Okay, so key logistic activities are the customer service, the 7 R's that we have just seen, and demand forecasting or planning. So, you are forecasting how much will there be a demand for my product, so that you can plan much ahead for other requirements. Inventory management, so as in how much do I have, what is my current level of inventory, how much can I hold further, should I go for more production, should I hold, the cost involved in such holding. Communication, so there needs to be a proper communication, and any gap, any miscommunication definitely spoils any chain in this loop. Okay, material handling, how it is handled, safety, ensuring it is not damaged, leaked and so on. So, not just the raw material, up to the finished goods. And examples of logistic strategy is, how many manufacturing locations can I find, are there? What is the mode of preferred transportation that I can use, whether I require fast transportation, also keeping in mind the cost point of view, and what is the distribution norm that I can adopt. Can I go in, as I said, direct selling or through manufacturers and so on. So, these are the aspects of logistics management, and then they later found out that there was a more requirement, there is something more that is something missing in the logistic management, and there they found out this concept called supply chain management. SCM is popularly referred as. So, supply chain, an extension of actually the logistics. It refers to all the people, activities, resources, information involved in turning the goods and services from the basic raw stage to the final stage. Okay, so it is people are involved, not just the product undergoes this change, sweeping change from raw to the final product, but then people are involved, many activities need to be correlated, resources are also into it, and lot of information, it's available, it's not available, it has gone below the level, there is a demand, a market has come for a particular product. So many information needs to be exchanged too. So supply chain management is an extended view of the logistics management. It consists of various production processes like manufacturing, whether I can take the natural resources and manufacture, transferring and storing the commodities, delivering the product to the final product to the customers. So any organization has to rely on this chain to successfully compete in the market. In this chain, when I mean the supply chain. So from the manufacturing to the delivery stage, the various, not just the product which is undergoing the process, the other attributes like the people, resources which are also involved in such change. So supply chain management is concerned with all these areas. We see that logistics is one part under the supply chain management. The other parts being information sharing, product which is undergoing the development phase, procurement, manufacturing, customer service, showing higher levels of performance. So these are the aspects of a supply chain management. It is not equal to logistics. Why was there a need for SCM? Why wasn't logistics just sufficient enough? Why we went on to SCM is because we saw that when it comes to an organization, they were actually not coordinated. There was a lot of disorganization. Okay, they were only focusing on their particular job. So production, only production. Okay, and the delivery is only delivery. There was not much proper coordination among the various teams in this production phase. So there was inefficiency, revenue loss, demand was not properly adhered to, or how much demand is there, so much was not produced. So all this were the drawbacks on the present system. So this paved way for SCM, for the narrow vision that it was having. So then the companies understood that every component of a supply chain is dependent on those before it. So the various aspects that we saw under SCM in the chart is also interdependent. One is dependent on the other. We can perform well only when all the other aspects has been properly managed. So there was a whole interdepartment network which needs to be focused from, and the supply chain is linkages, creating linkages between the suppliers, manufacturers and the final consumers. So from sourcing to delivery. Okay, and I said the traditional is just not a traditional logistics. SCM deals with integration of all the partners that we have seen, suppliers to customers, and it is an extension of logistics management. SCM acknowledges the logistics function also, plus other attributes like marketing, finance and so on. So the overall workflow of supply chain is split into product flow. So from the formation, so as I said, just now the product is my focus. Product flow, when I say, it is conversion from the raw stage to the final delivery. Also concerned, the SCM is concerned with information flow. How purchase order has been placed, sales order has been placed, how much has been delivered, updating the delivery status, and the finance flow too. So payment has been made to the supplier, amount has been received from the customer, inventory management, billing, are you providing it on credit terms or on cash sales? So overall function is the matter of concern for an SCM. And how does this work? Okay, implementation of SCM is with, as I said, it's with regard to product development. So when it comes to product development, you need to involve not just the suppliers, the customers also, because products are produced in order to give them at a convenient, in a convenient mode, at a convenient price, at a convenient time, at a very much shorter time. So they are also need to be involved in this process. When it comes to procurement, you need to definitely involve the suppliers. Procurement of the raw materials, you need to involve them, their coordination is required. And manufacturing. So manufacturing, you need to be flexible. No, you should not be rigidly producing a fixed quantity at every point of time. There may be demand more or less, so you need to accommodate the demand factor and manufacture goods accordingly. So you can adopt JIT, just in time, or produce minimum lots, and then as and when there is demand, produce the excess. Physical distribution, linking the market channel with the customers, or certain products, as I said, may be outsourced. You need not do all the exact in-house manufacturing. Other customer services in order to retain and maintain a good relationship with them, and this goes ahead in giving an improved overall performance. So, a long and a standing relationship is built between the customers and the organization, and performance is measured by not just profit, the service, quality, and so on. So, this was the major feature which SCM seeks to cover. So, we definitely can understand what are the benefits in the long run. It ensures that factories receive the timely shipments of whatever raw materials they require, and ensure there is no shortage at all, no delays in the production. Warehousing is totally eliminated, so warehousing charges are reduced, and prevents loss of potential sales by predicting the stock shortages. Customer services, right number at the right time, and these we can say as the various benefits. Okay, it definitely has a limitation. If I have to say, it requires proper coordination among the various departments. As I said, it is from the manufacturing stage, it reaches up to the customer level. So, there needs to be an efficient coordination among the various levels. So, benefits are many. Considering the fewer limitations, every organization need to implement an SCM in its production strategy. So, the major strategies that we have seen under production are understanding the requirement, preparing an operation plan, logistics management and supply chain management, and extended or higher end version of logistics. So, logistics may be just restricted to transport, but then SCM does not transport, also transport, but right from the raw stage, the people activities involved up to the delivery stage, these are the various concerns when it comes to SCM. Okay, so these are the various production level strategies under this. Next, we move on to a most important aspect, that is the R&D, but much not looked upon when it comes from outside. So, we may be concerned about marketing, finance, but R&D may not receive so much the same respect that the other departments or other strategies get. But what is this R&D strategy? Most of the products that we see is due to the R&D department that is functioning behind any organization. So, new products we see every time Apple produces so many new high-end versions. It's due to so much of investment goes into their technology. The R&D team is very strong over there. Okay. So, research and development R&D personnel play an integral part in the strategy implementation. They either develop a new product, okay, totally a new product is developed on one hand, or it may be improvising the old products in a way that will allow effective strategy implementation by using strategies such as, you get into a new product or a new market or a concentric diversification, related diversification. Okay. So, this is how new products are either developed or old products are either improved. Okay. Now, their focus, so R&D focus is to develop a new product or to improvise an old product, existing one. Now, companies who want to get ahead in terms of competitors, they need to have a better position in the market. They need to follow a robust R&D strategy. So, when I say robust, it's not a manual type, a very stereotype process. So, it needs to make most of their innovation. So, more innovative products you come about with, there will be a demand for product. So, spending on R&D can be either high, depending on your budget, depending on where the company is. If it is required, it can place a very high budget on its R&D, or an average or low also. It can either do within its own firm, or it can do R&D, can undertake this R&D process outside the firm, or it can go with already researched university papers or any other private sector researches. Okay. So, R&D can be either in-house again as such, as we said, or it can be from outside. It can use any of the other researches that has been made. And R&D is a very big investment. So, we need to consider many aspects before getting into R&D. So, R&D is the one which helps any company, okay, it enhances the implementation strategy efforts to emphasize product or process improvements. They are either the leaders or followers. So either they have invented something new in the market, they may be, in that case they are leaders, or already somebody has introduced, I'm going to follow whatever they have implemented, or I may be a follower. And also they need to ensure how much to spend on R&D. So amount to spend on R&D is also an important concern, right? So just not product development, process development. How much is required? How much can I spend? R&D requires huge amount. So how much is required to be spent is also need to be ascertained. This interaction for this R&D process, effective interactions is required between the R&D departments and other functions. So R&D needs to definitely coordinate with the production department, definitely needs to coordinate with the finance department. Need to know how much a fund is available for my function. Finance is one function. R&D wants to know how much is allocated for their department. Accordingly, they can invest in any new technology or go ahead improvising the existing one itself in a new way. Okay, so definitely requires better effective coordination. And the R&D approaches for implementing strategy are, you either be a first time innovator. As I said, you are either a leader here. Apple, 3M, they are all leaders. They have invented new products with new technological products. Exciting strategy, but it is extremely risky. Risky in the sense they are leaders, right? When somebody is a leader, such a innovation is not known in the market. People are all testing it. So it involves huge amount of risk. So that's first R&D approach. Be the first time to innovate new technological products. Exciting strategy, but extremely risky. Next, I'm going to be an innovative, not a new leader, but a new imitator. So Apple has introduced this feature. Samsung is also trying such a thing in their own R&D department. So they are trying to adopt the same technology for their products. Apple is highly priced. Samsung is not so much, not priced in the same way, but then it is also equivalently a product which is traded in the market at a very high price. So they are following an innovative imitator strategy, R&D strategy. Okay, so excellent R&D personnel and marketing department is required, or be a low cost producer. I am not a leader, I am not an innovative imitator, but I am a low cost producer. So here the mobile phones which are widely used are Oppo, Xiaomi and all that. Why? Because they are available to us at a very low price and they are into mass production. So these companies are producing in mass, huge quantity. Most of the Indian buyers prefer these products because they are able to get most of the features which Samsung or Apple, not exactly, which they provide, but then they are also having a high-end, they also feel they are having a high-end version mobile. So people prefer buying such mobiles. So here also R&D is involved, but their approach is not the first two. They are not leaders, they are not followers, they are low-cost producers. They produce in mass. When you produce in mass, we use economies of scale. Higher production, lower cost. And there is demand. There's definitely demand when you are producing in such mass quantity because you're totally relying your customers will buy and there is demand for your product. So this is a third R&D strategy which you can go. So when I am going to invest in R&D, I need to ask myself a critical question, whether I am developing internally or outsourcing it to another. Should I have my own R&D department or should I go to external agencies? So that is decided on the following parameters. What are they? For example, my company is into a production where the technical progress is slow, okay, very slow. Market growth is moderate. So technical progress is slow, market growth is moderate, not high, not slow, but moderate. So what is the action that I took? So the two aspects that we need to consider is technical progress for this product is slow or high or medium. Market growth, technical slow, market is moderate. Then what happens? This acts as a significant barrier to the new entrants, right? So new entries who are trying to enter your market, it serves as a barrier. So you are creating a monopoly. Market growth is also not very high. Okay, technical progress is also slow. So you have created a monopoly for your organization, for your company. So you will not find much new entrants entering your product. So in that case, you can definitely go with in-house R&D. Have your own R&D department, don't outsource. The other categorization is when the progress is very fast, contrary to what we saw, and market growth, let it be slow too. When the technical progress is very fast, R&D is risky. Okay, so every time the technical progress is very fast, it keeps moving. So it becomes, the technology whatever is you have adopted becomes obsolete at any point of time. Then thus creating no market for your product. So you don't develop your own R&D, don't invest in your own R&D, you can outsource. Okay. The other case where your technical progress is slow, market growth is fast. So slow only, technical growth is slow. So why don't I have my own R&D? But on the other hand, if you see, your market growth is very fast. So the time you create something, the growth in the market is seen an extreme, has gone somewhere extremely far. So no enough time for your in-house R&D. So either an exclusively outsourced R&D you need to look for, or on non-exclusive basis. Not just for me, you can do it for any, no, not an exclusive basis. You can go for such an R&D, outsource it to others. So when your technical progress is slow and market growth is moderate, only then you have your own R&D. The other extreme to extreme cases, both are fast, definitely outsource, because R&D expertise should be obtained through acquisition of a well-established firm in the industry. So when both are fast, having your own R&D to invent something new, come out with something new idea, or to follow another person, a risky venture. So these are some of the parameters to consider before getting into investing in an R&D of your own or to outsource to somebody else. So these are the various strategies that we have seen under R&D. The three main approaches: leader, follower, imitator or a low cost producer, and the parameters to consider for the same. The next and the last strategy that we are going to see is human resource strategy. A human resource we popularly know as HR. So HR is what? About dealing with people. So not dealing with money, not dealing with production, not dealing with the research technical aspect, no marketing elements, but dealing with people. So managing human capital is said to be the most toughest one. You need to align it with your regular business activities. You can at least control some of the other variables, but controlling human is kind of difficult task. It is definitely an art. When we say people, managing people is considered to be the foremost art. So human resource strategy needs to be framed for managing the work group, the work sector. Here it sets the direction for all the key areas of HR. HR, when I say, it's not just hiring, no, their performance. How are you evaluating their performance? How have you paid them, the reward attributed to them? How are you ensuring they are developing in their future, giving them promotions or giving them a good position? So all these aspects with regard to the workforce is the concern when it comes to HR strategies. So role of HR or human resource in strategic management, finding out whether there is a requirement for the staff. So just because I have funds or I have established a new business doesn't mean you need to recruit more people. Find out the needs, whether you need more staff, how much is your staffing requirement, in what positions do you need them. After having recruited, you need to keep on motivating them for the good. You are working on the various other strategies like taking care of the production, taking care of the marketing, yes. At the same time, you need to ensure your employees in-house, inside your organizations, are motivated and continuously directed towards a definite path. Give them links. So definitely motivation is one value. Other value that they would see through eyes is linking their performance to any monetary value. Okay, and also personal benefits. Administering, we have many companies comes with ESOPs plan, giving them shares at a very low prices. Okay, other family benefits that you can take care of, work-life balances. So many organizations come about with these fancy terms these days. So all this play a very important role in framing my HR strategies. But there are many reasons why my HR strategies goes failure. The major reason is social and political structure. Okay, so something strategy implementing a strategy is very difficult, and when it comes to need to control people, now what happens? You give new position to a particular person. Probably the person already there for a longer period will have clashes, will have their personal interest uh, being defeated. So new power status relationship are anticipated and realized. New formal and informal group values, beliefs and priorities may be largely unknown. Resistance, why should I change to this? Why should I, no, resistance to change to a new strategy. Okay, and disruption of the social and political structure need to be managed during the strategy implementation. So there are many obstacles that come when I am about to implement a strategy. This needs to be definitely managed, not hitting upon any person's feelings and values. Now, the individual aptitude needs to be managed with the task. When there is a failure, your HR strategy has failed. So, static jobs, people are very dynamic. People like change. People are highly motivated sometimes. They like change, but then the jobs may be static. So, matching the individual's aptitude with the implementation task, if it proves to be a failure, then your HR strategy is having a hit. So, commonly used methods that match managers with strategies are, we generate transfer, we conduct workshops, career development programs, job enlargement, job enrichment. These are the most of the methods that we impart to managers and other team force. So, managers should do a form of chatting, like they need to engage with any informal way of getting in touch with the employees. They need to question them, not on a formally note, not to be taken into records, but they need to find out through an informal mode as to how they view the policies, the various strategies that has been placed. So, informal interaction through chats, you can come to know about their interest, their aptitude, how do they prefer the jobs, and so on. So, managers can build support for strategy implementation efforts by giving orders, announcing decisions, reward generously, visibly, ensure others are also aware that he has been awarded, keeping the right personnel at the right job. So, these are the ways in which, if you do, the individual is placed in the right way, then you will find your HR strategy being implemented really well, and a failure is a major hit. Third, the reason for failure is top management support. You require top management support. At the ground level, everything is going well. You are ensuring your employees are motivated and so on, but it requires top management involvement also. So, all the top managers like CEO, owners must be personally committed for the strategy implementation. Okay, not just in words, they need to involve themselves in ensuring it happens. The statement, whatever they have given, must be consistent with the support and rewards. So, it will be given, it will be awarded, but doesn't happen, then there is no, your whatever has been stated in words is not adhered to. So, this creates stress, and this inconsistency can cause uncertainty among managers and employees at all the various levels. To overcome the HR problems in a strategic management, involve as many managers as possible in this process. So, role of HR in achieving the competitive advantage is a very, very important aspect. So, we need to analyze our external environment, and the internal SWOT analysis needs to be done. And when I recruit, so top management needs to be involved, managers need to be involved, is all we've seen, and the personnel who's into action into the team, I need to select the right person at the recruiting stage itself. Then further providing training and other appraisal system, I need to ensure I have a very strong policy. So, that is our major concern. So, the next human HR strategy that we are seeing is recruitment and selection. So, you need to identify the best competent laborers, employees. So, identify and attract and select the most competent applicants. So, people go in for campus interviews and to various organizations, they need to find out the best talented student and recruit them. give training. So they may be starters, they may be freshers, or they may be even experience in a different industry, in a different work setup. So you need to give them the right training that is required for your organization. Without training, you cannot ensure the work will be done in the right way. Performance appraisals. So they have been recruited, trained. Are they performing? Performance linked to some performance linked to some rewards or punishment. And compensation, as I said, attractive compensation. More than so that you retain all the training you have provided to them, and within a year or two, if they leave, they are easily absorbed by other competitors in the market. So attractive compensation more than your competitors increases the competency of work and ensure you retain the most capable person in your organization. So SHRM, that is Strategic Human Resource Management, is very important. It is mostly followed in all organization. Okay, so the HR strategy that we have chosen should reflect definitely the corporate level strategies that has been placed. So good HR strategy involves selecting the best talent, retaining, motivating the employees in a right way, in a right direction, and this SHRM helps in improving business performance and develop the culture that fosters innovation and flexibility. So when I say HR, we've already discussed the major focus when it comes to HR is selection, training and post-selection. So the pre-selection practices includes HR planning, the job analysis, what job is required, who needs to be recruited, what kind of education or experience is required, and then select. First do the pre-selection analysis, now recruit, select the right personnel for your organization. After selecting, the post-selection practices that needs to be given is training and development. After they have performed, now you need to give them the correct amount of rewards for their performance. So performance appraisal, compensation, motivation should be based on a corporate strategy of the organization. So this is the major HR strategy as to before selecting analysis, select the right person, right candidate. After selection, after their performance, ensure the post-selection practices such as training development is much adhered to. So the HR strategy is another important strategy when it comes to functional level strategy. The role of HR manager is to provide a direction, build core competency. Okay, when I say build core competency, that is finding out the strength of the organization. It should not be shared. Others should not be knowing what is your core competence is. Okay, so knowing your strength. This is done by divestment of those business or leveraging the limited resources. Dynamic leadership, creative, courageous, dynamic leadership. Creating competitive advantage through cost. Competitive advantage, as we have discussed, it can be a low cost provider or a differentiator. So creating competitive advantage through cost leadership and differentiation. Now you bring about the change, facilitation of the change. Okay, that is whatever you have spoken in theory, put it in practice. Okay, manage the workforce diversity. So any organization will have multiple workforces, ratio of men to women, the caste, religion, nationality and so on, educated, uneducated. So the manager need to ensure the workforce is managed in a good manner, so that every employee is motivated and does the work in the right manner that is expected. And non-financial incentives also play an important role in motivating the workforce. Empowerment of human resources, as I said, giving more power to those who have little in control. Developing good work ethics. That we have come about with a lot of work ethics that are mentioned here. Flexible timing, working from home and so on. And vibrant work culture, the atmosphere, the infrastructure, developing an atmosphere of trust among the employees. So these are the various ways a HR manager plays in this implementation of human resource strategy. So some very few examples that I could list about over here as people can see whether they need to recruit from outside or they can train their own employees. Okay, so recruit from outside or internal development, or instead of advertising as requiring highly skilled, experienced laborers, you can say as we will train them. Narrowly defined jobs versus positions with discretion and autonomy, so they have more autonomy, freedom in what they do. And instead of everybody work, we have this, as we said, work from home or work from anywhere. So on premises work or versus telecommuting work. So these are the very famous HR strategies that has come about, which kind of influences, motivates the employees to be in the organization for a longer time and work towards achieving the level, the strategies that the functional level has set, also in tune with the corporate level strategies. So with this, we have come about with the end of chapter 6, functional level strategies. The 5 major strategies have been discussed upon, and hope this has been a very enlightened session. Thank you.